So we really just opened up with one of the most messed up scenes in anime. Like, this is some true villain stuff, man. Before we get into that, we need to talk about more about the villainess that is Pride Ivy. So I would say her ambitions and her goals are a little bit different than what I've watched in the other Otome anime games. Like in My Next Life as a Villainess, their whole goal is not to be rest and pepperoni. They are doing everything in their power to ultimately not get the bad ending where they do get, RIP'd. Whereas the girl who reincarnates as Pride Ivy, from what it seems like, she, in a sense, accepts that she's going to be ultimately murdered and killed by the people in the game. Because at the very end of episode 2, she talks about how before her judgment day comes, she wants to do everything in her power to protect the people that she loves and her country and make it as good of a place as she can. So I do like that little bit of a twist that we have here, and that makes me want to bring up that supposedly this is a romance comedy, and I fail to see how this is a comedy at the very least, because there has been no moments where I've been like, ha ha ha, that's so funny, man, that's really slapstick humor, and that sounds kind of condescending, but in My Next Life as a Villainess, there was plenty of funny moments. And there's another anime that I forget what the heck it was called, and I'm so sorry. It was something along the lines of the villainess falls in love with the demon lord, or at least she tries to be with the demon lord, and both those I found more humor in those than the most heretical last boss queen. I really feel like this is definitely more drama filled and actually just messed up than any form of comedy. And the romance in here, Pride Ivy's brother Stale, doesn't seem to me, at least in the first 2 episodes, like he's going to be fully in love with Pride, in the sense of like, oh, I'm head over heels for her, because he actually kinda becomes a pawn to her. Now that's what first came to mind, but not really in the sense of Pride is using him, but because of her actions in the first episode and what she did in the second episode, which I will get into, he has devoted his life to protecting her and also trying to make her queen. In episode 1, during the later half in the ending, she does go to his room late at night and tries to free the guy and says, there you go, you can go be with your mother. And well, that obviously wouldn't work out for him. It would just end up actually hurting him more than actually helping. And then in episode 2, this really got me on my feels, I'm not gonna lie, because Pride allowed him to be able to write letters to his mother. This was a little bit confusing to me, so hopefully I read this right. When they took Stale away from his mother, they actually paid for the guy, and usually it's all paid in full, like, hey, here's your money, we're taking your son, peace out. But because of what Pride told her father, they're actually paying his mother month to month, and with that being allowed, she is able to write him letters every single month, and he will receive letters, well, every single month now. And on top of that, he is actually able to write a letter to her once a year, which I thought was a little bit BS, only once a year. I'm like, bro, really? I mean, you're already going to visit his mother once a month. You could also let him write a letter once a month, but at the same time, I somewhat did it, I guess, through this perspective, because if he writes a letter every month, then he would probably be more focused on writing these letters to his mother every single month and not focusing it so much on becoming the prince that he's supposed to be and, well, the helper to Pride. I'm kind of rationalizing it in some way, but I still think it's BS that he can't write her more often. But either way, it is an absolute mega W because this wasn't even supposed to happen in the first place. Like their father said, we don't allow this ever, but because of what Pride says and convinced them, we will allow it. And that's what really brought him to be like, okay, Pride is not the person I thought she was, and now I am going to do my absolute best. I will literally give my life to her to make sure she is protected, happy, and becomes queen. We're going to talk about Stale a little bit more because, like I said in the very beginning, we opened up with one of the most messed up scenes where Pride makes Stale murder his mother. And they actually do cover that in episode 1. They really expanded on it and the emotions that they felt, because Stale was obviously just shocked and horrified within himself and really hating Pride. And then he's like, why did you make me do this? And she's like, I thought it would be funny. And I'm just thinking, holy crap, this girl is absolutely evil. And when he tries to kill her, he can't because he's under that contract that he is not able to harm her or disobey her. So then he's pleading, please just kill me. Just let me die. If you're just gonna use me like this and make me do horrible things, let me rest in pepperoni myself. And this is what made me go like, oh my god. Then she gets right up close to him, whispers in his ear, and says, you are now not able to kill yourself. So now he literally can't stop this no matter what. He can't get rid of pride, and also he can't just take his own life, which would be obviously messed up, but at the same time, you're just being used to do these horrific things, like literally get rid of your own mother, so I can understand why he would be pretty dang traumatized. So maybe to you, that isn't one of the most messed up things, and yeah, there's like way worse things out there, 100%, but I mean, like, you can't tell me rest in pepperoni your own mother isn't at least pretty messed up. Like, yeah, they don't show the actual killing of her, but it's more so the emotions of these two characters and how wicked and vile Pride is. That really just expands on how messed up this scene truly is. But if you would like to know more about the vile, disgusting human being known as Pride Ivy, make sure to check out my first video on the most heretical last boss queen, from Villainess to Savior. But I hope you all did enjoy the video, and I will see you guys next time.